Your life is a little ridiculous these days where you're renovating the bathroom and other times you're like doing these celebrity interviews.
It's really weird. I was thinking about this morning, actually, how like that's why you rarely see crossover between like YouTuber and artist like in the same person, because it's hard to keep up with both, but also it's like confusing for the audience, like your branding and stuff. I guess I have to figure that out. But it's like I love both of the things, like DIY and music stuff. So IDK.
So all the promo that you're doing in these interviews, that's for your latest music, your latest single that you just dropped.
Yeah, and it's been really interesting doing interviews. Of course, I'm like very like it's so exciting and like live out this celebrity lifestyle that I've always imagined since I was little. And I never really understood when celebrities would be like, "Oh, I hate doing press. This is so tiring and whatnot." Because like from an audience perspective, you get to watch these attractive people doing interviews, like talking about movies and like co-stars and whatever, and it seems so glamorous. But when you're the one getting interviewed, it is really fun for the first couple times. But then after a while, you start having to answer like the same questions like 10 times over. It's kind of like how girls in comment sections, like when people will hype you up, you have to come up with 10 different ways to say like thank you or like come up with different emoji combinations. It's kind of like that. But of course, it's like all super fun and I'm really grateful to have this life. But it's just like everything is not what it seems.
That's so funny that you say girls in comment sections. So are guys not nice to you?
No,
Are they all
boys
Jeremy's
don't talk to me.
on any platforms?
Not even in life.
The biggest platform. Do you talk to
Actually,
them?
in real life is my smallest platform, like human interaction in real life.
So how many people do you see in a given week in real life?
Mom, dad, and Jeremy,
Who's
who is our
little
brother. Everyone in the household. That's pretty much it.
Do you want to talk about the big renovation project you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm currently renovating our bathroom in our parents' house. I mean, my dad and I, our dad and I. Let me repeat that.
Everybody's dad.
Everybody's bathrooms. Honestly, it's been like a year-long project. I started last year in November. I mean, Jay knows I'm really slow at doing things, but like I really didn't think it would take this long. So anyway, I had to learn how to do all the plumbing. Like I took out our toilet, had to like fix plumbing issues with the toilet sewage system. I had to replace the toilet. I recently learned how to install a sink and a faucet, and we redid the flooring. Like we did everything ourselves, which is such a challenging project, but it was also really fun and rewarding. And I truly understand why contractors are paid this much because it's like so much work.
The thing that
But the
got me was you doing the toilet. Like,
I
holy,
know I
like
to
that thing
really
is heavy also.
oh it is. I mean that's like the least of my worries, honestly. The weight of it. It was like scooping the like poopy wax off of the floor, like TMI maybe, but it's like disgusting, you know? And then also
Uh-huh.
having to figure out, because we have an old house. And so, like, a lot of these new pieces don't work with our old system. So it was just like a lot of work to try to figure that out. But I will say that all of these things an average person can do. You just have to like go and learn it. It is a lot of work though, but it's not like rocket science. It's just like a lot of physical labor. The point is I will hire someone else to do this next time. But at least I know, like I know how to do it, which is like I just want to learn something.
And that is why you are the ultimate DIY queen. Woo woo.
And that is what happens when you drop out of school and you want to keep your brain working.
You become a plumber.
Yes.
So you haven't always been doing like crazy big renovation projects. For those that aren't as familiar with your channel, can you give an overview of the types of videos that you do?
Yeah, so recently I've been doing a lot of room makeover type stuff, and I do a lot of sewing stuff like thrift flips and general like DIY craft things. I made this little Dua Lipa plaque in my background. Yeah, I've just always really liked making things since I was little. We grew up with not a lot of money, and so we couldn't afford a lot of things. And so I would make these birthday cards to be like pop up and like interactive and stuff. And I would make gifts and little toys and whatnot. And I really enjoyed it. So I guess around 2012, 13-ish, this whole DIY genre on YouTube was really, really popping off. And a lot of teenage girls were making DIY videos. And I guess I was just bored one summer day. I was like, I might as well just film this DIY I'm making. I like taught myself how to film and edit and produce and direct and all that kind of stuff. And I edited on our giant brick computer. Like it was a Microsoft 1995, like one of those huge, like bigger than my whole torso. And it was super slow. And I don't even remember how I got it to work, like how I got the video to come out. I honestly feel like 15-year-old Jennifer was way more creative than I am.
Wait, so what software did you use on Windows? I don't think it was exactly Windows 95, but it was like a clunky PC.
I think I like did a combination of a bunch of different softwares because I would just do like 1 week free trials for everything. So YouTube has this like editing platform like inside YouTube, but it's so basic. Like all you can do is cut. I remember I had to like upload each video clip to YouTube, import it into like the timeline, and then if I wanted to do a voiceover, I would have to export the timeline first and then like add the voiceover as like a music track. It was insane, like the lengths that I went to. And then I remember when you had a laptop. Do you remember? Because every time you would unplug your computer, it would like shut down.
Yes, my HP.
Yes. Okay, so here's a crazy story. And this, oh my God. So I was editing this video for like 5 hours at this point on this free trial on your computer. And we were going to like a park after. Jeremy was like, dude, we have to go or something. And I was like, I'm still editing. This was 2014. So he was what, 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he unplugs the computer. And so
No.
my 5 hours of editing went down the drain. It didn't auto save or anything. So I was so mad. I was so mad. And then he just like walked away.
Wow, classic Jeremy. So,
Yeah.
but these days you use better software and
Oh,
better
for
hardware.
sure. Now I use Final Cut. But I will say though, back in the day, editing was a lot more fun because I was trying to figure out all these things. I think I just really like a challenge.
Yeah, that seems to be a theme with plumbing and starting a YouTube channel. I mean, it is pretty commendable and cool. And I don't say it very often, but I am very proud of you.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I don't want affection. No, I'm not gonna cry.
Jennifer has attachment issues.
I have affection issues. Like I don't like receiving or giving affection.
There's different love languages, and maybe
And
verbal affection is not your
strong suit. No. Physical touch is I have 1 point on the love languages quiz. It's dead last.
What's your highest?
Acts of service.
I could see that.
Yeah. Because it's like when I'm stressed or something, if someone is like, hey, let me help you, I'm like, oh my God.
Aw. And also, that's how you give love to others. Or let me like make this beautiful thing for your birthday.
Perhaps.
I found this on your YouTube About page, and it's a timeline of all your milestones. So you started your channel in 2013. You hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2014, a million in 2016, and now you're at 2.6 million subscribers. Woo! How does that make you feel when you hear those numbers?
I mean, it's like kind of everything that I wanted to do when I started my channel. So it's really cool to like have this giant community, and it's like the most fun when I get to meet people in real life because it's like more than just a number. But there's the critic in me that's like, damn, I look at those numbers and I'm like, I'm not actually that successful if I compare it to other people who have been doing it for the same amount of time or a shorter amount of time. And I'm like, oh, I wish I would have hit this certain number sooner, or I wish I had more subscribers or more views and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's really common for YouTubers to be hard on themselves. And I know it's like everyone is kind of hard on themselves, but it's really easy to compare yourself in this space because numbers are so easily accessible. And YouTube analytics really make you feel terrible. They have this thing where they rank your 10 latest videos in terms of like views and like watch time and all that kind of stuff. And so if you upload a video, it'll say your video is doing worse than usual, 28% less viewers than usual. And it just like feeds into me already feeling like a failure sometimes.
It's hard to comprehend for someone looking on the outside why you would feel like a failure, because like looking at what you've put out into the world, it's like you've reached so many people, inspired so many, especially young girls and women, to be creative. And along the way, you've also built a business. This is a self-sustaining thing. You make good money to sustain yourself and more. What do you think of when you say the word failure?
I think it's just comparison. Like you see a lot of these people going viral or blowing up overnight, like Best Dressed or James Charles or whoever is like really, really big. Like, let's say Emma Chamberlain. She's like this giant personality on the internet, and she only started maybe like 3 years ago. You look at these top people and you feel like, oh, I'm not relevant enough. These people are making more money, getting more views, like all these kinds of things. If I wasn't able to compare myself, I would feel more successful. But yeah, it's easy to see those people as like, that's what I could be, but I'm not.
What do you think it takes for someone to reach the level that you've reached and then to reach the level of someone like Emma Chamberlain?
I think for me, I'd like to think I work really hard, but I think to reach the Emma Chamberlain level, you have to work smarter, not harder. And that's something I'm still trying to figure out because I'm not very business minded. I'm like, I'm putting in this many hours into my videos. Like, how come it doesn't translate to like views or numbers? But there's ways that I can be smarter with my time, delegate tasks, and like focus on things that people will respond to. Obviously, I've been doing this for 7 years, so I do have a lot of that kind of knowledge. But right now, I'm trying to focus on doing things that I actually want to film and put out. And maybe that just means that fewer people will watch it. But I feel like I'm at that point where I've put out so like a couple hundred videos at this point, and I'm like, I just want to do what I want to do. At this age, I feel like I'm supposed to try to find out who I am anyway. So this is part of that.
We don't know what
Yes.
Jennifer the Butterfly is going to look like.
Who? Gen Z, if you will.
Ooh. Do you want to talk about your music?
Yeah. So music is something I'm trying to do more of. We both grew up doing a lot of music stuff. Like we've both been playing piano for almost 2 decades. My first channel before Generation DIY was actually a singing channel.
No
Don't worry, it
way.
is completely wiped from the internet because it's very embarrassing. So I started it with my friend. Our first and only video was a cover of Radioactive by Imagine Dragons.
Oh my God.
And like both our little brothers were playing outside in the backyard and we had to yell at them to be quiet like 20 times. And then we posted it, and quickly after that, it was gone. I wish I could re-access the video, honestly, but I don't remember the password. So I guess it's just in the void forever.
Oh my God. I
But
would
it's,
kill to see that.
I know I want to see it too, but I also don't know if I want to see it because like it's probably embarrassing.
Well,
But
yeah, it's always embarrassing, but
well, yeah.
that's how you know you've grown.
Yeah, for sure. So it's kind of cool that I'm returning to my roots. It definitely took these 7 years on YouTube for me to be able to come back to music because at the time I just was too shy and introverted and like in my shell to be able to sing in front of people. It's still a really big struggle for me to sing in front of people, but I think I've built a lot of confidence through making YouTube videos and having these cool experiences, getting to go to events and travel and meeting really interesting people.